Welcome back to The Rebel's Edge. Pete Najarian and I will break down exactly what is going on with inflation, whether or not it's just the gas shock or if it's more. And we have that, stocks, prediction market, not today, but we've got just about everything else on today's Rebel's Edge. Bang. Welcome back, Pete. What do you say?
We got some selling going on today, John. It's you know what? It's a little bit different. We've seen days where it's started not sort of negative and then pulls up right away, it feels like. But this one kind of doesn't feel the same.
No, when that in fact, we'll dive right into macro, Pete.
Sure.
That inflation data that was more than expectations, 3.8% year over year. That's the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, up 3.8%. Again, year over year. Also up from March's figure, which indicated 3.3% year over year. So we're looking at people, I guess, thinking probably even puts Kevin Warsh back a little bit for the next time he can consider stepping into that job as the Fed chair and cutting rates.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, John. I mean, specifically, they just talked about the core was hotter. People are facing inflation. The one that's right in front of them every single day, of course, is gasoline, right? I mean, and that's where everybody looks. But it's a farther reach than that, right? I mean, there's so many different things that is affecting, from the airlines to the big trucks that are going down the road and everything else. I mean, there's so much to it, and what they're transporting and how they're going to get there, and the cost for them and everything else. So, yeah, it's a big deal, and I think that's why there's this kind of focus on it right now.
Well, we could just run that clip from Landman, Pete, where Tommy Norris is talking to his attorney, and he's telling him everything from the tires we drive on to the roads we're driving on to the clothes you're wearing, everything's part of crude oil.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's true. A lot of people probably don't know that Polar Fleece is all oil. You feel it and it feels so soft and everything, but nope, that's oil.
Yeah.
Almost everything that we use, from, again, pills and so forth to artificial joints and so forth. Well, you can do some of them with Teflon, but an awful lot of them have a oil-based background. Anyway, what do you got as far as VIX today, Pete?
Yeah, John, the VIX is up like you'd expect, obviously, but I think the reality is it's up a little bit less even than probably most of us would have expected, because here it is. It touched up at 19, pulled back a little bit into the upper 18s, and it's sort of just hovering right now, right there. So it's interesting to see that you're not getting a bigger spike, quite frankly, because I look over at the NASDAQ, I look over at the Dow, and I look over specifically, obviously, the S&P. It's getting hit pretty good today. You and I were just talking about that before we came on. The markets are getting hit, and it seems like it's got a little bit of an acceleration to that. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we maybe give ourselves a little bit more than just touching 19 and hanging close to 19. It might end up a little bit higher today if this keeps up the way it has so far in the first hour and a half, 2 hours of the day.
All right. Well, like I say, no prediction market today, folks. So we're going to dive right into unusual activity in QUBT, because indeed there was. This is an integrated quantum optics and nanophotonic technology company, folks. So basically they use integrated photonics to help deliver quantum computing and reservoir computing and a whole bunch of things that probably nobody really knows what they are unless they're an expert at it, Pete. But a lot of people will come on TV and tell you they know all about it. What we know is there was unusual activity in the calls. And when that happens, we follow along. So here it was, the end of April. So we are 12 days into the month of May right now. So this was approximately 13 days ago. QUBT they bought 3,500 of the January 12 calls. I remember when this one hit, Pete, I said, well, January, they're giving you a time frame. They think over the long term, obviously January being fairly long term, and where, well, the stock was $8 or $9 and they're picking the 12 strike. So they're giving you the target price, they're giving you the time frame and so forth. And boy, it didn't take those 6 or 7 months. It just took a quick bang.
2 weeks.
There it is, Pete. So a pretty nice trade. Those of you who have that one, do a little celebrating, but don't forget to do a little profit taking.
Yeah, DDA, as we like to call it, right? I mean, discipline dictates action. You get that action, whether it happens in 2 weeks or 8 months. Either way, you want to be able to jump on it when the opportunity is there, at least to some degree. But the thing that just struck me, John, just in an amazing way, is the fact when we look at what the revenue was for the company, it was only up 5,900 plus year over year for revenue. I mean, that's just outrageous, right? 3.7 million. That's a number that I don't know if I recall seeing that in quite a long time, or if I ever did, John. But they've been doing a lot with acquisitions, and because of that, that's starting to pick up things. And they've got some great liquidity right now. They still are sitting on about 1.4 billion in cash. So I would say this QBT has a shot to maybe even go a lot higher than where it is right now. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be disciplined, because you should. And then maybe hold on to something for anything more that could come from this. But a great move and a really rapid move. And this is a company that is absolutely crushing it right now. They really are. And I'll tell you, those acquisitions, I've never seen something work that fast, that well, as I am looking at this one today.
Well, and Pete, what you said about this one in particular is your options right now, folks, because you have options. Your options are take some money off the table for sure. If you bought those January options, I would definitely be doing that. And I would consider rolling up. In other words, when we talk about rolling up, folks, what we're talking about is it was an $8 stock. It has now exceeded $12. That was the target. If they haven't started to take positions off, if indeed the smart money is staying in there, Pete, what Pete and I do, folks, is we say, okay, let's roll up to the 12 strike. Let's take everything off at that, for the ones that we have, and let's buy something out there in time and roll it up. So we, again, have more upside rather than just carrying something that's so deep in the money, Pete. It's like stock.
Yeah.
So that's the way I would play it anyway.
Yeah. Agreed.
Let's dive into Vestis Corp. Uniform providers, I guess, kind of like Cintas, Pete. These guys provide uniforms for the workplace in the U.S. and Canada. And second quarter results, pretty darn good. This stock was up over 20%. Well, right now, Pete, I show it up 31%.
Wow.
And still moving to the upside. So revenue was fantastic. Margins remained very robust. So you can see why people would, both the shorts need to chase it up, and the longs are probably saying, run, baby, run.
Absolutely. Well, you're right, John. I mean, I think the thing that struck me most was how strong the margins were. And, it's really tough. We know the environment. We know everything about all these different variables or whatever that are out there. So for them to be able to execute the way they have, John, has been pretty unbelievable. Their free cash flow, also something that I think was really impressive. They paid down some of their debt. That's always a good thing to be able to do if you can afford to do that. So this is a company, like you said, I mean, it jumped up there. I mean, up 25% or more, or whatever it might be right now. But they are absolutely doing things right, and the demand for what they're offering is getting hit pretty strong with that. So this is a company that's doing everything, it seems, right now. Very much like Quantum, where you really can't poke a hole anywhere in this one. This is really great as how they're executing right now.
Right. Well, we've got one that I bet most of you could guess. If I just told you the name, you'd know what the company does probably. Zebra Technologies, ZBRA. Now, what looks an awful lot like zebra stripes were the original predecessor, if you will, Pete, to QR codes. They just had a bunch of bars, straight up and down bars, some a little thicker than others, right next to each other. No human being knew what it meant, of course, but it was set up for a barcode reader. And that's what Zebra does. So now with QR codes and all, we're all used to just picking up our phones and scanning the QR codes. Well, Zebra has those automated solutions and so forth that scan that and then instantly can tell, the store, for instance, how many fewer organic yogurts they have, or how many fewer t-shirts they may have, or whatever. In other words, it doesn't just scan it and tell you something. It actually goes right into the ordering process and so forth. So it's pretty damn valuable tech, and it's moved up from 10% to 15%. Right now, Pete, I show it up 18% year to date.
How many times
today, I'm sorry, not year to date, today.
How many times have we sat here, John, and seen a graph that looks a lot like this? I would say a lot, especially during this earnings season, right? I mean, we have seen so many just amazing spikes. It's just absolutely crazy. And this is just another one. When you take a look at some of the numbers, the fundamentals of what they are, their earnings were up 18% year over year. Their sales were up 14% year over year. Everywhere you look, they raised their full year guidance to a pretty substantial level from where they had predicted it before. The demand for everything that they're doing is getting higher and higher. So again, this is one of those names where it seems crazy, but it makes sense that the stock would make this kind of a move because of the fact that they couldn't really do a whole lot more than what they did. I mean, they've got the right demand. They've got the execution is doing an amazing job. And you take a look at Zebra. This is amazing. I mean, it's really, really impressive what they were able to put up there. And obviously, when you raise the guidance going further out, that's even more impressive that they're looking for even more than what they just put up just now.
Well, then, Pete, let's dive into C Limited. And C Limited, folks, SE, is a consumer internet company. They basically have subsidiaries and so forth that do e-commerce, digital financial services and so forth, all through this C Limited. And it's up 11% today. Why is that? Well, revenue jumped 46% year on year to over $7 billion. So quite frankly, that is blowing numbers away when you can do that. And the stock, like I say, is reflecting that. It's up 11%. But all their major business lines, Pete, were showing double-digit increases. And that's something that if you have multiple business lines and you can do that, people are going to reward you for it.
Absolutely. And you know what? Again, that chart said everything that we'd seen in the previous chart and the previous chart and the previous chart. I mean, it's amazing how big a beats that we are seeing here, John. I mean, this one, how about this? And you mentioned it already, but the digital financial services part of the game for these guys, their revenue grew 57.8% year over year. I mean, these numbers are just absolutely incredible. So when you look at the chart, you say, well, a little overdone or something like that. And I would say, well, based upon what they were able to put up, I don't know that that's the case. The only mistake that they had, if you want to call it a mistake, is their earnings did miss. The revenue was just like John talked about, 7 billion plus, but the earnings, they did fall a little bit short. But I think that going forward, everything that we're seeing going on right now, I would say that they are in a great position to continue on to where they are right now, which is absolutely crushing it. And they will certainly be one of the stocks that just about everybody is going to be talking about, I think, today, because, it's just that interesting side of things and coming out of where they are and the part of the world where they are. This is just one of those names that not enough people probably know about it, but I think they're going to start knowing more and more about C Limited than they did, John, because they are crushing it.
Well, and while you're 100% right, they seem to have turned things around, Pete. But boy, September, October last year, it was damn near a $200 stock. It's less than half of that now. Now, is it on the lows? No, but In fact, it's fairly above those lows. It's like the lows might have been like $75 or so, Pete. But with it at 94 today, that's pretty thin gruel when you look at a $200 target, not just target, a $200 print last September, October timeframe. So they're doing things right. I would say, let's see if they can put 2 good quarters back to back here, because that's not an attractive looking chart. When you go back a full year, short term, yes. Full year, not so much.
Absolutely.
Well, we do have a video for you, folks.
I love these videos.
And it's not the fat kid running down the field. It is instead an athlete that was in such high regard at the Minnesota Vikings that our father, late in life, thought he could beat him in a foot race. He used to tell Pete and I, yep, I'm training. I'm going to race Adrian Peterson. I think I can beat him.
His confidence level was so strong too, John. That was the best part about it, was he would sit there and he had no smirk or anything. He's like, I think I can take him. That's great.
This is a 90-year-old transplant surgeon looking at one of the best running backs to ever play. And he's going, I think I can take him.
You gotta love
it.
Let's give the video a little look and listen.
What in the Adrian Peterson is that? What was that? Look at the cuts. Excuse me. Adrian Peterson's son stole his whole flow.
He looks like the dad.
He just does that quick little shuffle
here's the
move.
craziest part. He
And
is
he's
now
big.
primarily a wide receiver, and he's even better at that position. He is 14 years old, and he's already making plays like that. 6'1", 175, and the route running already looks crisp. Look at him dust that defensive back. And by the way, if you want to stay updated in the football world, make sure you're following. I could have sworn I was just drafting Adrian Peterson in fantasy football, and now his son looks like the next Jamar Chase. He has received an offer from the University of Miami at age 14. He might end up being a 6'5" running back receiver hybrid. I just can't believe after how good he looked at running back, he goes, let me try out receiver, and he might be even better there. This is a future star in the making. What in the Adrian Peterson?
That's so cool.
In the Adrian Peterson?
And Adrian Peterson is a great guy, John, and that's part of the reason Dad knew him, because he was curious about a lot of things. And Dad, of course, being one of the biggest Viking fans I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I don't know how many times you and I would be in the car going to a Viking game, way back in the day, and we were just holding on for our dear lives on the way out to the stadium because there's no way he was going to miss the opening kickoff.
No.
But a huge fan of Adrian Peterson. I am. I think the guy's one of the best running backs, like you said, John, that I've ever seen. I mean, size, strength, speed, all of the stuff that you'd ever want. And just a special guy. And now you look at his kid, and his kid is like, all right, well, he's mini me. He ain't that mini, but he's mini me. He's going to be a baller wherever he goes. And I'm still thinking there's a chance for my Golden Gophers to get him. As long as we're on the football side of things, John, why don't we jump onto the football side of the two topics that we were going to talk about today? What I wanted to say was this: of all the guys out there, whether they're drafted or undrafted, but who do you like the very most, and who do you want to see? Who are you the most excited to watch play? And I'm going to let you go first on this one because I really like your choice. But so who is it, John, that you can't wait for the NFL season to kick off because of this guy?
And I can't believe he wasn't drafted, Pete.
Me neither.
But the Chicago Bears, picked this kid up out of Wyoming, and it is indeed the Vanilla Gorilla. And why do they call him the Vanilla Gorilla? Well, number one, he's pretty white.
Yeah.
And number two, he wears this black eye makeup all the way, not eye,
like WWE or
not
something.
makeup. Yeah, just like John Randall, like a couple other guys that like splash it all over their face. He has it literally, Pete, like this. And when you look at him through the football helmet, he looks like a vanilla gorilla. I mean, he is a beast. He's like 6'4" and 300. and just, has an engine. He just goes. And again, I'm surprised that we were able to get him in free agency. But I'll take this kid, and I'll make you a bet, Pete. I bet he makes the team.
Well, and I'll say this, John, I'm very impressed with what the Bears have done over the last year and a half, right? New coach, get themselves into a great position, with the playoffs and all the rest of it. They've got a lot of pieces to the puzzle. They probably still needed a few. I think this guy makes the team. I think he's going to be one of these kind of guys that, 3 years from now, everybody's going to be saying, this kid came out of Wyoming, but he's a freak show. I mean, because he loves the game and he shows it by how he plays it on the field. And it's amazing. So it's just another notch now for the Chicago Bears on what they did in the draft, what they did in free agency, and what they did now in this side of things or whatever for the guys who haven't been drafted, because, wow, that's really, really awesome. All right, John. I think for me, it's going to be Jeremiah Love, which is kind of an easy one to say, but here's why. Jeremiah Love, I think, is one of the better running backs I've seen in a while. As a matter of fact, I would even say that he is at least comparable to the previous year's Heisman Trophy winner who's playing with Las Vegas. In a lot of ways, he's a little bit different shape, but he's faster. I mean, his speed is something that not enough people really fully recognize, I don't think. And when you watch that kid play, he's pretty special. And I think what might end up being pretty cool is I look at the quarterback room at Arizona. They got nobody except for one guy potentially this year who I really, really like, Carson Beck. Now, you could say, well, he's already too old. Well, okay, yeah, he played 6 years of college football, so he's a little bit older. He's played in a gazillion games already. He's been in multiple championship games, all the things that go in his resume. But you know what? Arizona, with him moving in at quarterback probably mid-season, in my opinion, and then having a running back like that, because a running back can set up the quarterback better than anything there is. And I think the other couple quarterbacks they have, they're just getting a little bit too long in the tooth. They're a little bit too old. They've been hanging on too long, and they're journeymen that are usually a backup quarterback. I don't think these guys are starters. So I think Jeremiah Love also brings in Carson Beck, and the whole thing turns into a much better offense than what we've seen. So I think that could be pretty cool. John, the last thing we could hit is the NBA. I mean, I'll tell you what, I know you had a smirk on your face. I had a smirk on my face too, because Oklahoma City is just that good. And you know what? All year long, you just wait on the Lakers. And the fact that, these guys swept the Lakers 4-0, right? And they did that in their previous match too. So these guys haven't lost yet in the playoffs. It gives them a little bit extra time in between and all the rest of the things that go along with that when you actually can sweep it. I'll tell you what, John, they swept the Suns. They swept the Lakers. They're a scoring machine. SGA only dropped another 35 points or whatever it was. So, he's really struggling along. I love what we're seeing in the NBA right now. And what I mean by that is, how about the Knicks? They did the same damn thing, right? So at least the second time they did the sweep. And I think it's amazing. I can't wait for it. I don't know even if it matters who ends up being in the championship game against the other, because the fans are starting to really embrace, I think, the NBA right now and really like what they're seeing. So this could be a lot of fun, John, as we get into the last couple of weeks of the NBA season. And sooner or later, we'll be able to put a crown on somebody. But I'll tell you what, the way that the Knicks took care of the Sixers was absolutely impressive. I think that final game was 144 to 114 or something like that. I mean, unbelievable how good the Knicks are playing as well.
Yeah. And Pete, as I shared with Jared, we got Bronny James and LeBron James, and the first father-son duo to play, I believe, in the NBA together. Obviously, sons have played, Calvin Hill and his son and blah, blah, blah. He was pro football, but his son made it, through Duke and was a fabulous basketball player. But these guys played together, so that's something. But they're also the first father-son duo to be swept. And I just like to highlight that for any of the people that still refer to this clown as a GOAT. He was really good when he was young. You know what he's done since he's been with the Lakers, Pete? You know how many championship rings he's got as a Laker? One. And that was the COVID ring when they all had to play in Orlando for like a month. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's the only ring he's won out there as a champion, as an NBA championship. So he has done for that franchise. And if anybody wants to think that somebody who plays at that level is a GOAT, you can have him. You can pay him all the money you want and have him. But the Lakers will fill that stadium no matter what, Pete.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd really have to drop down into, the dregs to even have a few empty seats.
Yeah.
But they'll still be sold out, just people might not come. But nobody's given up that seat because you can't get it back.
Yeah.
So I think, that he is a joke at this stage in his career. Sorry.
I wonder, does he step away? I wonder if he's finally done it.
Should have done it a few years ago.
He might. You're going to get some haters on you, man.
when you're taking those flops, Pete, when
Yeah.
you're just like, and flying all over the place, or if somebody even gets close to him, he's like, oh God, it's like, dude, you have destroyed your legacy. And okay. Some people played too long. I don't think Brady played too long, Pete. He got a Super Bowl in his second to last season. And then in his last season, they just didn't have enough gas in the tank. I think he could have still brought them there if they had enough players. But yeah, he was still winning. This guy, like I say, Pete, you folks challenge me. One ring, and it was the one that they played in Orlando when all the teams that made the thing, they cut the season short, and then they all played in Orlando in the Dome or whatever they called it down there, the freaking Corona Dome.
Something like that. Yeah, that was terrible. God, I'm trying to forget all that, man.
I never even watched those games until they actually put fans in the stands, Pete. With the fake fans in the stands, those cutouts that they put in the stands, total joke. Now, that's not on LeBron. That's not his fault. But that's the time he won, with a bunch of fake fans in the stands.
That's the commissioner. That's the commissioner who was okay with these guys doing, their management and everything else. So yeah, I put that right on him.
Yep, me too. Well, we got another Rebels Edge tomorrow, Pete.
Cool.
I got kicked off of News Nation yesterday with Connell McShane because of the hantavirus, because some guy went on there for like 15 minutes and kept thanking all of his colleagues until the 15 minutes was up. And I'm like, and you didn't have time to let me tell you about, the stocks you should be watching or whatever.
Right.
But I will be flying down to Necker Island after the show tomorrow, Pete,
Nice.
to be with Richard Branson and a whole bunch of entrepreneurs. So I'm flattered to be invited down, and that should be fun. So I'll fill you guys in on it tomorrow. But what time are we shooting tomorrow, Pete?
I think we're going to hit it right at 1 p.m., John, Eastern time. We're going to get after it. Giddy up, baby.
Bang.